In your headlines, Premier outlines critical issues to be discussed at upcoming JMC meeting. Grand Turk vendors market to be ready in time for reopening of cruise ports. And refreshes training for mental health professionals. Hello Turks and Caicos, thank you for joining us for another edition of News Watch. It's Thursday, October 28, 2021. I'm Latoya Walker. News Watch starts right now. During a House of Assembly meeting this week, the Minister of Public Works reported that the Grand Turk vendors market will be up and running in time for the December reopening of the cruise port. Take a look at Thursday's leading story.
It is PPID to confirm, Mr. Speaker, we are well on our way to the renovations that will be done at the new Grand Turk Vendors Market. And the reason why this is important, Mr. Speaker, to the relaunch of our cruise industry here in the nation's capital is that we have heard concerns from vendors about accessing the beach, accessing guests. We've heard concerns about safe location for trade. We've heard concerns about opportunities for growing local vending businesses and local operators businesses that can benefit genuinely from the cruise industry. And so as a response to that, we have now, I think I could say it, signed a sale and purchase agreement for a property. And for the PPID aspect of it, we have already finalized the scoping works for any renovations and upgrades that need to be done at that facility. So on the heels of the budget, the supplementary passing next week, Mr. Speaker, the ITT will be issued immediately. And so again, we want to urge contractors to ensure they're registered with procurement and or the Public Works Department so that they would know about the opportunities for the renovation works at this facility so that they're able to bid in good time and we could get these works done in time for the return of the vessels to the island. As I said, Mr. Speaker, this is a short update, but please permit me to go into two more updates that is not printed on the written speech, but came to mind during discussions today. As the Premier mentioned, we are looking at investing heavily in our ports in these islands. The port renovation project at South Dock is already underway. We've seen groundbreakings in South Caicos and in North Caicos. So now we're looking at our airports. And as the Acting Minister of Airports, while my brother colleague is on some much needed leave, I can confirm that we are progressing neatly on developing our terms of reference for the redevelopment of the Providenciales Airport. And so the communities of the Turks and Caicos Islands and potential partners with TCIG will see a lot more flurry of action around airport redevelopment in Providenciales over the next few weeks.
Meanwhile, the minister also provided an update on the government's COVID Works program. To date, several works have been awarded, and quite a number will be going out for the benefit of all Turks and Caicos Islanders.
That launched September 1st. It has gathered much more interest than we probably could have predicted, Mr. Speaker, and as a result of that, because it's a live program and a live document, we are reviewing the current structure of the policy. We want to ensure that there is genuine equity in the program to really benefit those who genuinely need the access and opportunity, Mr. Speaker. But just to give a cumulative total up to date of works that has had an opportunity to draw down from the program, we are in the region of just under $1 million, over $965,000 so far. And that does not include the recent batch of works that closed on October 13th, Mr. Speaker, which is causing many of my colleagues to pull hair out of their head for the volume of applications and bids that came in for the 200 plus projects that were advertised. And so I apologize to the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Ministry of PPID because they've been locked in little rooms for the last few days trying to vet and evaluate all of the bids.
Islanders are urged to visit the government website to register online or visit the District Commissioner's office on their islands or stop by the Public Works Department. Persons can also submit their tenders or bid submissions online at tcigworks.gov.tc. The minister says the largest batch of works closed on October 13th, and the team made up of the Home Affairs Ministry and the PPID department is conducting the review. Meanwhile, Minister Mizik also reported on a number of promotions within her ministry, congratulating those awarded and reminding residents that positions are now available within the ministry and they should apply.
Mr. Speaker, we also want to celebrate our ministry over the last 6 months has shown that this government's commitment to building a strong foundation and organization is its people. So we are proud to welcome Mr. Queen Campbell, who we poached from a private sector firm, Mr. Speaker. My colleague across from me, don't cut your eyes too much, but he's amazing and we stole him. So we welcome him to the PWD team as a project manager, and then we celebrate with Max Grant and Leonardo Jolly on their respective promotions in the Public Works Department. So, Mr. Speaker, when we promote, then there's vacancies. And so, Mr. Speaker, we have several vacancies that are coming up that close on Friday, and I will go through them because, as I said, this government's focus, it's no secret, is on human capital development. And over the last 6 months, we've seen that commitment, especially in the Ministry of PPID and across the Turks and Caicos Islands government. We did have the opportunity to welcome as our director, Mr. Garvin Thomas, who acted in the role for several years, the new position of Mr. Dominic Durham as Director of Housing, and we now benefit from Desmond Wilson, who was transferred over as our permanent secretary. So we're building a strong foundation in PPID, Mr. Speaker, to allow us to build stronger buildings for TCIG for years and years and generations to come.
The deadline for applications to be submitted for those vacant positions is this Friday. For PTV News Watch, I'm Delana Iles.
Premier Charles Washington, in his latest update to the public, covered pertinent matters addressed by his government. He also shared topics up for discussion as his team prepares for the upcoming JMC meeting. Take a look.
On the issue of the Constitution, the government is in the process of hiring a constitutional advisor, a professionally high-powered attorney who worked on the Cayman Islands Constitution. We believe, with my own experience in the United Kingdom, with the United Kingdom government, I think it's critical that we have every aspect of the arcs properly defined and explained. Otherwise, we set ourselves up to be dismissed. And so we're in the process of hiring professional legal help to work through the Constitution so that we get something that is properly thought out with independent professional help. Clearly the Constitution belongs to the country. It's not belong to the PDM or the PNP, so that collaboration in terms of where we go with it and how we arrive at what we want will continue in a bipartisan way.
Premier Mizik noted that constitutional talks will further continue and outline other critical issues to be discussed as he prepares for the Joint Ministerial Council meeting this November.
That talks will be expanded and continued as the Deputy Premier and myself again will be in London later in November to attend the JMC meeting. Some of the issues that we will be looking at, and we've already started the discussion about how we get banking to all of our communities in TCI in one form or another, and how do we use our relationship with the United Kingdom to leverage the ability to make sure that sectors of our economy are not de-risked or debanked.
Another critical area outlined is the management, demarcation, and settlement of the country's exclusive economic zones.
I think we have tremendous potential in these islands for offshore fishing, particularly as we look at diversifying the economy. But it does require a clear demarcation, a clear idea of where our EEC EEC begins and where it ends. And we have an ongoing dialogue, ongoing contention with the Dominican Republic in terms of our banks. And this is something that I have already spoken to the UK about and will seek to advance this discussion with them towards a final solution.
It's time for a quick break. More News Watch when we return.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to News Watch. Mental health professionals in the TCI recently completed a refresher training course funded by Pan American Health Organization. Details in this next report.
13 public and private sector general healthcare and mental health professionals are now better equipped to treat a number of mental disorders. From October 19th to the 22nd, the Department of Mental Health and Substance Dependence hosted training in the World Health Organization's Mental Health Gap Action Program. That program aims at scaling up services for mental, neurological, and substance use disorders within low and middle-income countries. The program asserts that with proper care, psychological assistance, and medication, many more persons could be treated for depression, schizophrenia, epilepsy, prevented from suicide, and begin to lead normal lives, even where resources are scarce. The 4-day workshop was sponsored by the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO. The participants were exposed to training modules in essential care and practice, dementia, psychosis, self-harm, and drug use. The workshop was facilitated by Dr. Fidel Cuaya, Medical Chief of Staff at the San Ignacio Hospital in Belize. Dr. Alicia Malcolm, Director of the Department of Mental Health and Substance Dependence in the TCI, opened the training sessions. She told the participants that the training is part of a continuous effort to integrate mental health care into general healthcare settings, especially primary healthcare. She said it will equip doctors and nurses with skills for the early detection and management of mental disorders in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Following the workshop, participants were told that they will have access to a supervisor who will continue to support and guide them in implementing what was learned in their daily practice. For PTV News Watch, I'm Delana Isles.
While police have yet revealed any updates in the murder of Isaac McBee Mizik, it seems the family has planned his burial this weekend. Here's more.
A homegoing celebration for Isaac McBee Mizik is planned for Saturday, October 30th, almost 2 months after he was killed and his body found headless in his home. Police have yet to issue any updates on the case or whether or not Mizik's missing head has been located. The family is still on a hunt for answers after 2 men were brought into custody, questioned, and 1 released. No word on whether or not the other was charged or let go. Rumors also led to police probing of the victim's brother and well-known pastor, Courtney Mizik, who says those rumors were a vicious attack at his character and that he'd never, for any reason at all, harm a loved one.
I, Courtney Mizik, is not involved in my brother's murder. And I love my brother. I love all of my siblings. And I basically supported my siblings spiritually, physically, and financially. And as I say, I was there. If my brother need anything, he comes to me. So why I have to come kill my brother? And for what?
It is still not certain as to when or where the victim was killed. However, he was found lifeless in his home on Saturday, September 11th, from what appeared to be a vicious attack, his murderer coming in with a motive to not only injure, but kill. This remains an extremely sensitive case for investigators who are also trying to piece together a motive toward the extent of violence portrayed. The victim will be laid to rest on Saturday, October 30th at the Community Fellowship Church. Again, if you or anyone you know has the slightest amount of information that could assist investigators with this case, kindly call 911 or Crime Stoppers to leave tips anonymously.
We'll be right back. More News Watch when we return.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Sunny skies across the Turks and Caicos Islands. Here's your weather forecast for October 29th, 2021. Starting in Grand Turk on Friday, mainly sunny skies, high 85, low 80. Winds south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. South Caicos on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 85, low 80. Winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. North and Middle Caicos on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 87, low 80. Winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Parrot and Pine Key on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 86, low 80. Winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And on Providenciales on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 86, low 80. Winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Time now for your sunrise and sunset. Sunrise at 6:52 a.m., sunset at 6:15 p.m. And for your high tides, 2:22 a.m., 2:45 p.m. For your low tides, 8:21 a.m., 9:13 p.m. Time now for your hurricane outlook. For the North Atlantic Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, a non-tropical low-pressure system producing gale-force winds is located a few hundred miles south of Halifax, Nova Scotia. The low should continue moving eastward at about 5 miles per hour through Friday, away from the shore. The low is then expected to turn southeastward on Saturday towards slightly warmer waters, and it could acquire some subtropical characteristics over the weekend or early next week, while over the central Atlantic. And that's it for your weather forecast and your hurricane outlook. We'll be right back with more Newswatch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
spreading the gospel.
We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future.
I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
And here's a look at another story that made this edition of Newswatch. The ordinance came into force on Tuesday, October 12, 2021. And as such, actions barred on October 12 or within 12 months from commencement can be brought before the court up to October 11, 2022. The ordinance bars the bringing of several civil actions to the court by persons after the expiration of the limitation period. In consideration of the fact that persons' right of action would be barred after certain periods, the limitation periods in the ordinance were given much consideration and are comparable to other jurisdictions. The ordinance provides for safeguards to ensure that it would not affect ongoing actions. Furthermore, the ordinance gives a grace period of actions which would expire on the date of commencement of the ordinance or within 1 year of commencement to be extended without being barred for a period of 12 months from that date. In announcing the commencement of the ordinance, the Honorable Attorney General Randolph Brathwaite Knowles stated, quote, "The introduction of statutes of limitation in the Turks and Caicos Islands is a welcome development as it places the Turks and Caicos Islands on par with mature jurisdictions and is a positive progressive benefit to the people of the islands. The limitation of actions ordinance provides certainty to the end of litigation prior to the enactment of the ordinance. Whilst there are some particular provisions, there was no legislation in the islands dealing with limitation periods in general for various civil actions. As such, a majority of civil actions were opened for litigation indefinitely, irrespective of when the right of action accrued or a person became aware of his or her right to an action." The Honorable Attorney General further stated, quote, "It is recognized that having litigation open for long periods of time is not favorable for any society as it denotes no end to litigation. The problem is that with the passage of time, recollections fade, witnesses pass away, records are lost, and people move on with their lives, making it difficult to be successful in litigation. In line with the notion and expectation that litigation or the right to bring certain actions should at some point come to an end, the ordinance seeks to introduce general limitations consistent with the law and other Commonwealth jurisdictions and having taken into consideration the issues at play in the islands." End quote. The bill was completed in 2016 and has benefited from consultation with judiciary and members of the Bar Association. The bill was originally introduced into the House of Assembly in 2016, but the House was dissolved, leading to general elections before the bill was completed, and as such, it fell away. Following feedback from members of the House of Assembly and the Honorable Chief Justice, the bill was reviewed and updated and sent again for consultation with the judiciary and the Bar Association in 2020 and 2021. Following a lively and informative debate, the bill went through the House of Assembly with unanimous support from all the honorable members. That's a wrap for Thursday's newscast. Join us again tomorrow and every weekday at 6:30 p.m. for more Newswatch. And connect with us by visiting our website at www.ptvatci.com. Until next time, I'm Latoya Walken signing out.